All right, welcome back. Here's our proverb for the day, 27 and 28. Wisdom, was there when he set the heavens in place and when he marked out the horizon on the face of the deep. So I thought that was a great proverb, particularly in our times. Right now, they're kind of stressful. We know now that he knew all this was going to happen. Anyway, number 12, you've got three terms. If it were me, I would look for a greatest common factor again. So I'm going to get my red marker. Greatest common factor, there is none between 9, 24, and 16 because these are divisible by even numbers. This one by an odd, it's just not going to happen. But they can take out an x squared from all three terms. So this is our greatest common factor, our GCF. And we're left with three more terms still. X squared, we have 9x squared. Then we have minus 24x, and then just plus 16. So this is a trinomial squared that we need to try and factor. So our greatest common factor of x squared, let's see, you could use the quadratic formula, but I'm going to see if we can come up with two different binomials. So I see a 3x and a 3x for 9x squared. 1 and 9 also could work. But I'm going to try and see if both of these will work this time. And then the square root of 16 is 4. If it's a positive product and a negative sum, they're both going to have to be negative. So this gives us minus 12x. That gives us minus 12x for a total of negative 24x. So it does work. Set each factor to 0, so x squared equals 0. X is 0. It's one of our answers. Actually, it has a multiplicity of 2, so x equals 0 happens twice, 0 and 0. This one is the exact same thing, so we're just going to do it once. 3x minus 4 equals 0. 3x equals positive 4, divide by 3. X equals 4 thirds. So this is an x equals 4 thirds also. Your answers are 0, 0, 4 thirds, 4 thirds, or 4 thirds with multiplicity of 2, and 0 with multiplicity of 2. Next problem. I'll scoot our camera over a little bit. There are 4 terms. So what's going to jump out at me is maybe factor by grouping. So I would bring everything to the left-hand side. You have x cubed plus 2x squared plus 3x. 6 comes to this side. It's positive now. And set this equal to 0. So I'm going to have 3 answers when I finish. They may be real, they may be imaginary. I don't really know. I'm going to look for things, since I have 4 terms, I'm going to look for things that I can group. So I've got an x cubed plus 2x squared. I think I'll group those two together. Plus, and then I'm going to group the 3x plus 6 together. I'm looking for a GCF now between x cubed and 2x squared. So I'm going to factor out an x squared. That's the GCF. And what remains is x plus 2. So I've got an x squared times x plus 2 plus, look for a GCF between these two terms. See a 3, and then left with x plus 2. Now when we factor by grouping, I would do one more final grouping. I would put the first 2 together, first 2 factors, the second 2 together, Big Daddy plus sign here in the center. And then look for something between the green brackets that is in common. They both have an x plus 2. So that is a new GCF. So the new GCF is x plus 2. It's our new GCF. And what remains, once we take the x plus 2 out of both of those, what remains is the x squared plus 3. And that's equal to 0. Now I have 2 factors. Set them both equal to 0. This is going to be x equals negative 2. It's one of our solutions. The other one's going to be x squared plus 3 equals 0. X squared equals a negative 3. When we take the square root of a negative, it'll be plus or minus square root of 3 and then I. So we have two imaginary zeros and one real 0. So if you're curious what it's looking like, I know you are, it's probably going to do this number and something like that, where it touches once and then the two imaginaries are there. All right.